And welcome back. As you can see, we're back at it again with... I'm not even gonna say, like, The Thing, because, like, I don't know, I think, like, The Thing had cooler ideas than this.
More well-executed ideas, let's say.
Yeah, so there's a lot of criticisms that both me and Malsanz have thrown at this game off camera. You may hear them on camera today, or not.
You heard several of them last time, right?
Yeah. But let's click continue to see what is going on if you don't recall, because last episode was a cluster.
Let's see how much we don't have to censor.
Right. The last episode, we finally got to the endings. We picked one ending, and turns out Mom and Dad were, like, being controlled by the Forest Master, I guess is his name. And then we got another ending where the... what?
Which is incongruous with another ending where they just got eaten by it.
Yeah, where the animals just, like, broke open the house and took Anton and all that. And now we're on the third ending, where Anton chose to sacrifice his sister in a scene of brutal, bloody, and again, this is me yelling at YouTube, fictional children in a fictional setting. That I will have to censor very heavily. And now we're on, and so he ate the flesh, and because he ate the flesh, Anton is now this thing, I think?
Yeah, this thing. Which
because
is
he, like, went up into space, and...
he ate the moon.
Yeah, he took a bite out of the moon.
And the sky is maggots.
This is a fucking acid trip and a half of what the fuck. So we're just gonna continue to see where the hell we're going, and also, I mean, Paul is very upset about this, as we can see.
Or maybe not see, because there's probably a lot of censorship on there right now for you guys.
Oh god, what is that droning sound?
Wow, that is loud.
Yeah, okay. The world was bleeding. The planet descended into pitch black darkness. The fires went out, and the entire cities turned to ash in the blink of an eye.
Coco, let me clarify. I can barely hear you over whatever that noise is.
What the hell? Okay, there we go. Is that better?
It's better. A little bit lower would still be good.
Okay.
Okay, much better.
What?
Ah!
You bastard! We're just gonna... There we go. Okay. An assemblage of claws, tails, and teeth crawled, destroying life itself.
Oh, is this the we took over the entire world ending?
Is this the flesh that hates from the SCP universe? Is that what we're going for here? Actually, you know what? No, there's a whole different other thing that I'll reference in a second. Seas turned crimson. What in the fuck? Forest fires were the only source of light. Shadows of colossal monsters darted inside their flames. They devoured rivers and mountains. They gnawed on the bones of reality. I'm hiding in the dark. I dig into the ground. I spend nights in the dug-up graves after slurping up their contents. But I still can't hide from the hunger. It can't be sated, not even for a moment. What the fuck? I'm starving. I'm so hungry I'm chewing myself. I wouldn't be full even if I ate the moon. All I can do is consume. I am hunger. I am the devourer of worlds. I create nothingness. I leave the half-eaten core of the planet. I devour graveyards. My howl is a death chant. My body is bigger than anything anyone could ever imagine if I hadn't already eaten everybody. I walk in the darkness, scooping up cliffs and seas with my open mouth. My eyes roll around in the craters of my eye sockets, seeking nutrition around me. I eat the stars. I consume the cosmos. I can hear the planets scream. I hear the universe wail in horror, its dying convulsions never ending. What? Apocalypse now. The apocalypse has been cancelled. Russia will not fall apart, even though the current day smells of ashes and despair, and the default is raging outside our windows. Even with the constant debates about Chechnya on the radio, Russia is alive, in disarray, in the trenches of the market economy, with pensions in socks and soles at the bottom of the glass. It won't submit. And even if everything in the world crumbles, if cities sink under the ground, there will still be a people left who believed, destitute, lost, exhausted, but unbroken nonetheless. I have no doubt one day we will be able to reach the stars again. While the earth spins, we still have a chance for tomorrow, for our future grandkids, for a dream nobody can take away from us. Okay.
That feels like some biting satire intended, but it kind of falls flat.
Because of this absolute insanity. Which also, I just... Huh? And yet there's a mountainous tree of choices and decisions that we have no clue what we're looking at. But I guess that... You see, like right here, I don't understand... Was there a decision here? When we met Paulina for the first time?
I don't even remember.
Or like here, delinquents, mask, put on. That was the only option. I remember that because that episode pissed me off, which is why I had to edit so much of it. To make it funny again. Cool, I guess. We got the worst possible ending. We got all like 3 of the worst possible endings.
Oh, now we know. Don't be a doormat. It turns you into a monster.
Apparently. Okay. What, gallery? Or is this just the endings? Okay, it's just the endings. Okay. So here's what I'm gonna do, right? I'm gonna pause the recording. I'm gonna make sure that something went through, and then I'm gonna check something out. we'll be right back. Okay, so I opened the game's Steam page, and I'm going to read directly from the progress report update posted on March 2nd of this year, which is 2026. So basically, it's a lot of updates, a lot of changes that they're doing to episode 1, but then the person goes on to say, as I've mentioned before, this is only the beginning of our work. The higher the number on episode count, the bigger the list of fixes, improvement. Episode 5 will go through a complete rework from the ground up. This time, we won't be implementing the fixes for the episodes separately, since we want to be able to experience the enhanced version of the game through to the end. So, this game does have a lot of mixed reviews, very much for obvious reasons, given the insanity of everything. So they have listened to feedback, apparently, and they are going to be updating and changing things. But it does mention something about episode 1 that I want to go take a look at, which I believe it's specifically pertaining to this scene right here. So we're gonna read through that real quick, and because the weird goat man that just shows the fuck up, it's like at most was probably shadows in the background before that point. I mean, so let's check this television set on what happens if we don't rewind the tape but watch TV instead. Malsanz, would you like to read the TV people when they show up?
Maybe.
Maybe. Also, what kind of graveyard is this? Oh, is this the kind of graveyard where, like, it's family graves or they're just kind of stacked on top of each other? Yeah.
I couldn't possibly have an answer for you.
The picture finally cleared up. But the moment I rejoiced at finding that weird signal again, the TV started coughing, a voice barely coming through the cacophony.
He was often seen at the moment when
Small snowy hills were lined up on the screen, piercing with rickety crosses, and a male voice was narrating with a slow, mournful voice.
It was a pitch black night at the cemetery. In that fateful dark time, little Senya met her fate at the face of a monstrous thicket dweller. The locals call him none other than the Forest Master.
I froze and did my best not to move, as if by doing that I could scare away the narrator. I listened closely to his every word.
The beast dealt with the helpless girl in a masterful manner.
The camera panned across the snow with something black spilled over it, looking for ragged pieces of cloth that were thrown around all over the place. I didn't want to think whether Senya's remains were wrapped in there, so I shut my eyes without thinking. The voice continued.
Wolves are rare guests in these parts. Here's what Tamara, the old woman that lives in a nearby crypt, had to say.
Close-up shot of the face of an old homeless woman, weary from life and alcohol abuse, rattled on screen.
Yes, yes, such a fearsome beastie it is, worse than the rising dead.
The old woman splattered saliva all over the rectangular mic. Ew.
And the stink, it's like...
The rest of her comparison was swallowed up by the sound of a horn.
I've never felt anything like that. It was just standing there, yes, right where you stand, boyo, and pierced me with its eyes, right in the middle of the day. It was so huge, that one, with glassy eyes.
Obscenities were covered by another beep.
You know, they say if this demon lays its eyes on you, it'll snatch you, put you into his bag, and you're done. But he won't touch me. Likes me, it seems. So they even call me the devil's wench.
Что правда, то правда.
And it's definitely true.
Опустившимися до звериного образа жизни хищник брезгует, предпочитая детскую невинную кровь.
The carnivorous monster will not touch those who fell to the level of forest beasts, going for the innocent child's blood instead.
Теперь все чаще хозяина леса видят в поселениях на периферии нашей родины.
The forest master's presence is felt more and more on the outskirts of our country.
Torn between believing in what was said and shrugging it away, I decided to record the remaining part of the documentary for some reason. Oh no. I see where this is going. I quickly grabbed the tape that was on top of the TV and put into the VCR without even looking at the cover. I pressed record, turned the sound up, and paid attention to the slipping signal.
Хозяином леса его прозвали не просто так.
It's not called the forest's master for nothing.
Ему подчиняются все звери, пернатые и лохматые. Они предвестники появления самого чудовища.
All of the animals obey it, be they hairy or feathery. They're all precursors for its appearance.
Если слышите вой вдалеке, то, скорее всего, он знает, где вы живете.
If you hear howls in the distance, it most likely already knows where you live.
Если порог дома истоптан звериными следами, а за окном караулят птицы, прячьтесь, он уже идет за вами.
If you find animal prints all over your doorstep and birds watching you from the trees, you'd better hide. It's already coming for you.
А если однажды ночью, проснувшись, вы увидите глаза в окне, то скоро.
And if you wake up at night and see a pair of eyes in your window,
Скоро.
then soon Then soon, jump scare.
Скоро.
Then soon,
Скоро.
then soon,
Скоро.
Fuck.
then soon. Oh my god.
Jesus, fuck you. That's getting censored. The TV suddenly went mad and looped its last words over and over, piercing my ears. Goosebumps all over my spine. The tape ended and was rewinding to the beginning. The sound of rustling tape reminded me of leaves in the wind and the low howl of the beast. Easier for a moment I thought it was wet with saliva, but it was just the light from the chandelier making the black plastic glossy. And then I saw the cover. Oops, I recorded over Peter Pan. That's what I get for hurrying. Oh no, I can't let her see this. We'll drown in tears. Squeaking floorboards, Ollie appeared in the doorway. Yep, okay. So we're gonna stop there and go back to the menu. So yeah, that provides at least better foreshadowing, in my opinion.
Yeah.
It still doesn't explain what the fuck the eldritch what the fuck was going on.
No,
I just...
not really.
Yeah. So, again, Malsanz, would you like to explain your grievances with the story's construction?
Okay. Put in... Put as shortly as I can. The style of the narrative jumps very harshly. So, the thing about psychological thrillers or horrors is that they work to build tension, which usually pays off in a climax. Obviously, that's what this VN is looking to do, because there's definitely a lot of climax that they want to pay off. But the problem is that the majority of the VN that precedes it did not really build all that much tension. The ending, as we saw, and as you've presumably seen if you're at this point in our videos, was incredibly fantastical. But all the way up until almost the very end of chapter 4, we weren't even sure if the fantastical elements were real, or if this was all just happening in Anton's head, because we had no confirmation that something that they not necessarily that we didn't have confirmation or visuals on the fantastical elements, but our ability to believe in those fantastical elements was undercut by the implications of Anton's incredibly vague medicine, as well as the general behavior of Olya, frankly. Because I could go more into it, but that's genuinely the thing is there's this idea in storytelling that when you open the story, you have a small window in order to establish the world that the narrative occupies. And the further that you go into the story, the harder it is to add new elements to that world while also making it feel cohesive and whole without feeling like effectively feeling like it's air quote earned or or of having a level of internal veracity. Like it feels narratively truthful. Tiny Bunny ain't did that.
Yeah. Like, I feel by the point of the ending of the nightmare where Anton, like got jump scared as fuck by the wolf, I feel like that was the cutoff point, personally. Because by that point we had established, okay, child protagonist, inquisitive, curious, weird shit going out in the woods. And then the wolf jump scare, and then it's like, okay, was that a dream? Was that a hallucination? Did that actually happen? But something,
and that's kind of the big crux of it, is that they kept throwing these jump scares at us that turned out to be entirely inconsequential. And when that happens, you undercut the threat because you're telling the audience, whether you intend to or not, that, hey, anything can happen in these dreams and nothing really bad is going to come of it. So that's what leads the audience into wondering, well, is that even real? Do we really care about that? Or is there like something else going on? Like, is Anton actually just crazy and he's on crazy pills? That we had been asking the entire dang VN until we finally actually got to read a little bit of the label on his anxiety pills, which apparently don't work.
I guess.
Apparently, at best, they make him drowsy. At best.
Yeah. And that's the part that I guess that's the part that fucks me, is that we're sitting here asking these is it real or not questions constantly because the game has done nothing to demonstrably prove one way to the other. I'm honestly, I would not be surprised if, and the entire ending that we just went through is actually meant to be a, like, fucking The Shining.
A psychotic break?
Yeah, a psychotic break where he goes crazy because it described him freezing and his body aching and whatnot as he was jumping up towards the moon with Elisa. And I would not be surprised if that was meant to be a psychotic break and a final hallucination of death as he's literally freezing to death in the snow, where finally Anton gains control. Matter of fact, he gains ultimate control over the universe. So it's like, I genuinely do not know how to interpret this or how to read this. It feels like they wanted to tell a story in Russia. Good. They wanted there to be a mystery. Good. But then they wanted there to be a strange mystical element. Okay. We're still cooking. We're still cooking with gas. But then that's where things went off the rails, where now, I don't know. Is the main character crazy? That's up for you to decide, I guess. Because what it feels like to me is it feels like it took the criticisms that were levied at Mass Effect 3 and ran too far in the opposite direction. So for those that may not know, Mass Effect 3 was lambasted, absolutely ripped to shreds, because like, oh, there's like 13 different endings, and it's literally just like three sets of 4 endings that only have like one line of dialogue difference, and then one final ending that's extra, like super secret whatever, that is completely different. And everybody's problem was that all those endings amounted to the exact same thing.
Yeah.
And now it feels like we've gone completely in the opposite direction, where we're in control of the ending too much, where our decisions in the VN feel like we as the player actively change the fabric of reality that the story is trying to tell. And yeah,
This shows very much in like the way that the parents were portrayed, because it feels like, based on what we chose to do as Anton, the parents had 3 different routes that they went on that were completely not what's the word that I'm
incongruous.
looking for? That were completely incongruous with one another. Like, in order for them to have gotten to this point, they could not have done whatever was required in order to get to that point. And not in the sense of, and because the choices that we made were literally right at the end, there's no possible way that you could justify that Anton's decisions in that 60 seconds, presumably, of actual VN completely changed where they were and what they were doing at that time.
Yeah, because it's one thing to have alternate endings where somebody dies, somebody lives, everybody dies. But then it's another thing to actively feel like, and at least this is me going on a limb here, to actively feel like the Forest Master is an actual magical entity, or to make your decisions to actively change the story to make it feel like the Forest Master is a guy in a costume that is giving drugs to children.
And kind of to the point, like, if your decision in the VN is to open or close or not open the door, for example, the person on the other side of the door should be the same for both options. And then you get the story that happens when you either do or don't let that particular entity in. It shouldn't be that if you choose to open the door, or if you don't choose to open the door, there's somebody completely different on the other side of that door.
Yeah. And it's like, Echo is not fucking perfect. I'm like, the more I read it and the more I have other sources of comparison to hold it up against, I'm realizing that, yeah, Echo is just a spiced up young adult fiction novel. Affectionate. But it's like, it does one thing well, and that is there are options. They change how characters approach certain situations, or they just outright immediately end the game. Spoilers, I guess. And that's good. And this thing is touted as a non-linear VN, which again, I get, but you should have your story that you want to tell, not the story that you... How do I put this? It doesn't feel like they had a story. Hey, they had one singular story. It felt like they had 3 different stories that they allow you to explore. That's what it felt like. And because all 3 stories are being told at the same time, things get jumbled, things get lost.
Anyway, I know we are actually a little bit into time because we have been
Under.
discussing this
Tiny Bunny is 45 minutes.
Okay. I said close to time. I didn't say we're right on time.
Yeah.
Gosh.
So
But anyway, we've been hashing this thing out for a while now, and I don't think that we should, in the well-believed faith that the creators are trying to make this into a better work, I don't think that it's fair to them to try to do another like full read through of the game until they have had a chance to properly update it. And then maybe once they've updated it, we might come back to this and see if we like the improvements that they've made. But I think that out of respect, it's best to give them time and space to try and make those improvements before we lambast it again.
I agree. That's entirely fair, because this really does read of somebody's passion project. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
This has
And,
the
like-
fingerprints of somebody who's been nurturing and cultivating this in their head for a long time. Because the more I look at it, the more I realize, wow, this is actually as insane as, like, say, Warhammer 40k. Like,
And frankly, there were a lot of points that really sold us on trying to complete this. Like the scene where we finally got color. Like
Right?
literally all of the artwork for this game in general. But that little bit of color coming in to the world, like the first time that we met Alina, there were the scene where Semyon, Pyasha, and Romka were bullying Anton and were trying to make him put on the mask. Like those were all compelling scenes that had like visible like choices that Anton was making, and as a character, not necessarily as us readers, that were impacting the narrative and making it move in a direction. And when it was doing that, it could be great. And I'm really hoping that with a bit of love and maybe with a little bit more self-discipline, perhaps is the word that I'm looking for here, that they might be able to structure it better and make push the VN into being something truly very good.
Yeah, I mean, I'm absolutely looking forward to what these updates will include, because just that one scene alone where we accidentally recorded over Peter Pan, that would have completely changed my perspective on a few things. Mainly that one ending where mom's betrayal. And, you know, and it's like, oh, wow. You know?
I do find it weird, okay, that at the end, the mom's betrayal did not happen in the same ending where we got the mom backstory. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because Elisa told us that story about the bunny, basically mom, going off and having children and sharing her power with her children. And like that would have made a lot more sense to happen in the ending where, you know, mom ate the children, and not in the ending where that entire story was completely superfluous to what was happening.
Yeah, it made that, yeah, that's what I mean, right? Like 3 different stories being told at once, and things got lost in the jumble. it's like that storybook part, absolutely crazy, absolutely insane. Completely changes how I looked at the relationship between Anton, Babushka, and Mom.
And honestly, I really wish that they had followed up on that idea more previously, because that sounds like it could have done some really interesting things. Because Anton's grandmother, as we know, was definitely into like the supernatural, but we got literally zero of it from his mom.
Except for the fact that apparently she has seizures whenever she sees like a dead thing.
Yeah, which is definitely not a power.
It's not a power, but like an explanation. Like, could you imagine if they, like, we had a scene where it's explained that she gets that way and she sees things or she hears things? Like, I don't know, just like,
yeah,
like something about that would have, but what is it?
Any follow-up to these ideas would be nice, basically.
Good is the enemy of great. That's the saying. However, the follow-up, you know, good is the enemy to great, but perfect is the enemy of done. So, bear that in mind as anybody who's listening works on their own personal projects. Well,
yeah.
I think that's enough of us talking about this.
Until further notice.
Tiny Bunny will return in the future, just not right now. Thank you all so much for joining us on this journey, and thank you, Malsanz, for playing with me.
Ooh, yeah, I'll play with you.
No,
Happy to play with you.
Stop that. You stop that.
What?
You
I don't know
stop
what
that.
I did. What did I do?
He's gonna send me that GIF again. He knows which GIF it is. He's gonna send me
Am I
that GIF
gonna do
again.
it?
No. All right. See you in the next one. Have a good night, guys.
Bye.